Okay, hi everybody. I'm going to say hi on this side of the camera. Hello. Welcome to my studio. Let's go inside and I'm going to give you some information and demos for your next assignment, which is to do applique based on architectural details. So here is what you will need. Well, not based on architectural details, just based on shapes that you find in your environment. Can be inside your room, can be outside on the campus, wherever. So here's what you're going to need. You're going to need a stack of paper, 8.5 by 11 is fine, a pencil, scissors, straight edge. If you don't have a ruler, don't worry about it. You can use the edge of a book. You're going to need your 8 fabric squares and eventually a needle and thread for when you do your applique. Okay, so this video is going to happen in 2 parts. The first part is I'm going to tell you the first steps that you need to do for this project. So I've written them down here. Before we get started, I think you should prepare your workspace and, in a sense, prepare your mind, yourself, to do this project. So for myself, this is my studio. I'll give you a little look at it. You can see branches on the floor because I like to paint branches. I'm really super privileged and lucky to have all this space, all this wall space and so on. But I feel my studio right now is a little bit messy. So I think one of the best things to do to get ready for a project is to straighten up your area. Kind of puts you in the mood sort of mentally for it. So I'm going to take these extra stacks of fabric and put them over here on this chair. I don't need them. I'm going to do some other things like put away my notebook. These are notes I made yesterday about some art, and this is my notebook that I actually don't need. And just kind of clear up my space. Here's my phone, don't need that. Here are some painting implements from the other day when I was doing some painting. Put those away and just kind of clear up your area. Don't need this stuff, put that away. Here's my date book, don't need to think about that. These are my fabric scissors, so I keep them over here. Here's a straight edge. Here are some pencils, so I need those. And then I think I'm ready to go. Here's paper scissors. And these are the applique squares that I'm going to be working with. So I'll put those over there. And okay, so the next thing you need to do, if you haven't done this already, is the second step, which is look around inside and outside for some interesting shapes. Then we're going to play with those shapes, first with paper, shifting things around, and then I'll show you how to scale something up so that it fits your the dimensions of the fabric squares that you're going to use. So you can see my fabric squares are here. They're fairly large. I think they're a little bit bigger than the ones you're doing because I think I'm going to make some pillows. So they're 20 by 20 inches. Or about 19 by 19 inches. Your fabric squares are a little bit smaller than this. But anyway, so this is the stuff that you need and the steps you need to take. Let's go on to this one right here. I want to show you around my studio, there's a corner of the room that I really love. If you look at this corner, I really love the shape of the architecture there. And I'm actually wondering if I can do something that's very bold and simple with that shape. So what I'm going to do is get some paper ready. Here's regular 8.5 by 11 paper. And with this paper, I am going to sort of begin to sketch out those shapes that I like and that I see. But I'm going to try to put this camera up on a little bit of a platform here so that you can watch me as I work. Okay, let's see if that will work. I'm going to rest this on a paint can. Okay, now I'm going to come around to the other side and say hello, and I hope you can see me, and I hope this works. Okay, so here are my 8.5 by 11 sheets of paper, or A4. I'm going to square them up, cut them into squares, so that all sides are equal. That's about right. And these are going to be the pieces of paper that I sort of think through the shapes that I want to applique. Okay, so I'll put these away for a second. And I'm looking at this corner of the wall and ceiling, and I just really love the simple sort of shape of this. And then maybe even if I think about the way perspective goes, I might add another kind of shape here. And here I have a very, very simple basic shape, and I wonder what it would be like to applique that. But when I look at this, I think it's kind of dull. So I'm thinking to myself, what if I sort of moved that shape around? Like really made things a little asymmetrical. So just going over here, and then I could move this here, and then that's kind of like another vanishing point. And you see it maybe looks a little bit more interesting here. But then again, there's this other shape in the room that I really love, which is the shape of my lamp. So if I just kind of sketch it out, sort of looks like this, the lampshade that I have in here. If I make this straight across, maybe it kind of looks like this, and I could even have it go off of the edge of my square, it doesn't matter. Or let me try it again. If it's just on the square, how does it look? So just sketching out a shape that's pleasing to me, really. And actually what it comes down to it, I think I like the curved shape of this pretty well. So I'm going to show you what I'll do is I'll cut this out, this shape out, like this. And then I'm going to play around, similar to what we did the last week that we met together in person. I want to see what it's like to move this shape around on a piece of paper. And so I can see what it looks like. I'm just going to give this some shading, some contrast. Okay, so that it shows up on my white paper and I can kind of see how it looks. So in a sense, this is not a bad shape, but I really like the curves that are made here. So I could move it around like this, you know, so that there's like a curve here and here. I'm not sure, but I'm going to go back to this architectural one because I'm actually still kind of curious about it. I'm going to cut this out. In a way, I think it looks like a big, giant bow tie, which might not be that great, but I don't know, maybe there's something I can salvage in it. So again, just cutting out the shape. I'm going to shade it in just so I can see, so it's contrasting with the white paper underneath. And then I'm going to play around with placement. How does this look if I place it on the page? I think shifting it around like that is actually kind of interesting. So I don't know, between these two, I'm not sure which one I like better. And then there's always these offcuts that you have. You could play around with those and see what kinds of shapes they make, which can give you like a really interesting kind of surprise. And again, I have these other offcuts here from the shape that's curvy, and I could play around with placing these, you know, on one page and see what that looks like. So the first part of this assignment that's really, really important is for you to take time and cut out shapes, look around for shapes, take a walk, find some interesting things, make sketches. Don't worry about drawing. You don't have to be great at drawing. All you need to do is cut shapes with paper and play around and see if you can decide on something. So that's your first step, and this is something that you should work on Tuesday and Wednesday, because definitely by Thursday you're going to want to decide what you're going to applique. Okay, so I'm going to turn this off now, and then I'm going to show you part 2 of this. Okay, hold on.